is a special report from 7 News.
And welcome back to 7 News. We are continuing our coverage of the fire in the Fort Collins area. It's just west of Fort Collins. This is new video into our newsroom showing just over the ridge from these homes where that fire is burning intensely at this time. Again, we are talking 14,000 acres, 0% containment, and no sign of getting this contained anytime soon. We do know that it started yesterday morning about 6 a.m. They're suspecting it was lightning started, but look at the change just by changing the point of view here. You can see blue skies on one side. Again, this was from a northwest view from Old Town Fort Collins, and then back to the thick smoke.
This is a situation where they now have, they've had 28 airdrops over this, trying to get to putting all the resources they can on top of it. The sheriff calling this fire so unpredictable and Mother Nature driven that it's been very, very hard to get ahead of. Their biggest priority has been trying to get people into a safe area and try to preserve as many homes as they could. They said that there is one person that they are very concerned about. They've not been able to figure out where they are and if they are okay. They're in a bad spot, and they're following up on that even as we speak.
They are certainly continuing to go forward with evacuations.
Yes.
They have, well, just recently put a new one together out near the Bonner Springs area, Bonner Peak subdivision, Buckhorn Road. Visibility is a huge issue for a lot of folks, so there's a lot that's happening, and we are staying on top of this for you right here on 7 News. 2,000
calls, is it, that they're talking about, that they've actually reached individuals on this. The sheriff was speaking to reporters this afternoon and gave us sort of an overview of what it was like for him. He was following the fire folks and trying to get a sense of where the fire was, where it was going, where it had been, and this is what he shared with us.
The way this fire is acting, it's moving back and forth. It's reburning areas that it's previously burned, so that's what we're seeing. As we came back down, headed towards the Poudre Canyon in Stove Prairie, some pretty bad fire behavior, but once again, as I drove through there, I was impressed to see structures surrounded by black, homes and cabins, and they were still standing even though the fire had come through. I know there was significant structure protection put through there. I encountered some of the crews. I talked to the Risk Canyon chief there. From there, what was amazing, it was almost surreal, was to come down and drop back into the Poudre Canyon, because maybe that last mile or so, there was nothing. It looked like there was nothing going on around it. The winds are moving the smoke off this direction to the east, because you looked up to the sky. Unless you looked back behind you, you wouldn't know there was fire. It was like I said, it was surreal. However, turning down Poudre Canyon, going to the east, about the time I reached Young's Gulch, and I can't give you a mile marker, you can check that on the maps. At Young's Gulch, it was coming down the hill. It was making that crawl down. From there all the way through Poudre Park to maybe a mile to the east of Poudre Park, still on the south side of the road, fire was coming down the hill. We got reports earlier from Poudre Canyon Fire that they believed 8 structures were burned in Poudre Park. I did not see those. Now keep in mind, there's structures, you see the ones near the road. I don't know what's up the hill to the east, further back. It definitely burned down in some places completely to the road, but I saw a lot of structures untouched.
And that is certainly good news from the Larimer County Sheriff, that they have really worked hard to try and get those evacuations in place so that they can save lives. Again, we know that one person unaccounted for. But we do have Amanda Cost, who's been out at the Cache La Poudre Middle School. And Amanda, one of the concerns that we were talking about earlier were some hikers who folks hadn't heard from, but you have good news for us.
Yeah, and we're breaking news right now on 7 News. We actually spoke with those hikers. They're sharing the story of their escape with 7 News. Now, 4 hikers were in the Seaman Reservoir Saturday. They ended up trapped in the canyon as that fire picked up. All were forced to stay the night, the smoke and wind relentless. But they were unaware of just how fierce the wildfire was raging until this morning, when they hiked out of the canyon to their car and then they booked it back to town.
We didn't realize the severity of the situation. Like, a lot of people are evacuating their homes, don't know exactly where everyone is. So definitely feel lucky to be out of there and safe.
And Harrison shared the entire story of their escape with 7 News. We'll have all that story, including what the Hewlett fire had to do with their safe escape, coming up at 7 News at 10. Until then, reporting live in Larimer County, Amanda Cost. 7 News.
That is incredible.
That is
Amanda,
great news. It certainly is. Well, of course, Mike Nelson has been following this, and with Storm Shield, he's really had a different point of view that he's been able to share with us with his iPad and showing us how to get the very latest information. But, of course, we want to find out what's going on with that weather and how it's going to affect the fire.
I'll tell you what, it's really been something today with the smoke. This is a time lapse started at 2 o'clock from the University of Northern Colorado. Let me step out of the way and look at that fire just boiling up and the smoke pouring off toward the northeast. And that smoke now extends all the way into southwestern Nebraska, 80 miles tracked by radar, and that's just seeing the little tiny particles of smoke. Now, what happens with that is that the main upper level winds are taking that smoke very clearly off to the northeast, but at lower levels down close to the ground, we get a lot of mixing of the atmosphere during the day, so we're getting cooler winds. They're swirling around, but they're swirling that smoke back and up into Wyoming and all the way across Weld County, all the way down to the Denver area, so the smoke is all over the place, but this is the most dangerous plume if you have any type of pulmonary disease. And this is what we can track with our new Storm Shield application. I just have an iPad here, and Storm Shield, we downloaded it from the App Store. So we're actually seeing real time on radar the smoke moving off here. This little dot notes Pooter Park. If I want to put the warnings on here, I can just go ahead and put the fire warnings on there and see where the red flag warnings are. All of these areas under red flag warnings, obviously where the fire is, that continues until 9 o'clock tonight. And we can extend out to the east and see that smoke going way up into Weld County, up across much of the northern sections of Greeley and Fort Collins. So if you have any type of lung ailments, you can use this as a very effective tool to see if you are in that smoke plume. And if you're just curious about how this fire is growing and changing, download the Storm Shield app. All you have to do is go to the App Store, and it will be available in about 10 days for Droid, but right now it is available for both the iPad and the iPhone. Obviously, we used it last week for all the severe thunderstorms and for the tornadoes. Another really great feature is that we are tweeting on this, and you'll get all of the tweets that we either send out from the Weather Center or retweet. So we're getting Red Cross and emergency management information to keep you up to date. This is an amazing tool, and it has follow me mode. In other words, if you're traveling, it will stay with wherever you are using the GPS in your iPhone or your iPad. So if there's ever weather or fire danger, even if you don't know exactly what county you're in, with Storm Shield, we can give you that information. It's only $4.99. It's a life-saving tool on so many levels. Now, here's what's going on currently around the area. Temperature's a little bit cooler over in Estes with 68, but it's 79 in the Fort Collins area. The humidities just are not anywhere we need them to be. They're mostly in the teens to around 20%, and that's a little bit higher than yesterday, but not nearly high enough, especially when you throw in the winds, which at the present time are quite gusty up where the fire is, and they'll stay that way at least through about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. Later on this evening, the winds will drop off a little bit. What happens during the day, the stronger winds aloft tend to mix some of that energy down, because with the heating of the day, we get a lot of rising and sinking columns of air, and we bring that momentum from on high down to the ground. During the nighttime hours, those winds tend to lay down a little bit, and that's what we will see overnight tonight. We hit as warm as 74 today, well below the 95 that we had yesterday, but the humidity is just really not all that high. Dew point's only at 25 degrees, 16% relative humidity. Across the state, the highs were much cooler today, but no rain anywhere close by. You have to go way up here into Montana and Wyoming to get any moisture. There's a weather disturbance up there, but unfortunately not much of it is going to come our way. Tomorrow there's a slight chance of thunderstorms on the eastern plains swinging around this high pressure system. Our surface winds will be a little more easterly, should pull a bit of moisture in across the central plains, Nebraska and Kansas into Colorado, but most of these storms are not going to produce much moisture, mostly wind and lightning, so that's not a great sign. And hot and dry is coming back later on this week. I'll have some more details on that a little bit later on in this hour. Mike and Ann, back to you.
All right, sir. Thanks very much.
Thanks. We have some new video into our newsroom that we wanted to share with you of the fire scene and just bring you up to date on the latest that we know about this fire. Again, this is 15 miles west of Fort Collins is the burn area that we're talking about. The estimate is 14,000 acres. That was as of this morning, so we know that that figure has changed, although we hope to hear more at 8 o'clock tonight when Larimer County Sheriff does another update. Again, we know the aerial assault has been underway, 28 drops made today, although we know that the sky cranes have been grounded now because of the winds, which continue to shift up there, and that is why you see the constant change in the coloring of the skies and the intensity of the smoke and so forth. The newest evacuation order was for the area north of County Road 38E from Horsetooth Reservoir to Redstone Canyon to Laurie State Park. That was 326 notifications in that most recent evacuation order. So we are now at well over 2,000 evacuation orders that have gone out since this fire started yesterday morning. So this continues to grow, at least the evacuation zone for certain. And we are staying on top of that as well to make sure that we bring you those as they come in.
Mostly because of the fact that the fire just has its own mind. Mother Nature running the fire, according to the fire chief. Molly Hendrickson joining us now from the command center. Molly, you had a chance to talk to the sheriff and get some additional information, I understand.
Yeah, and he was understandably kind of emotional when we talked to him. Real quickly, let me show you what we're looking at in the distance. You talked about the winds picking up. Definitely we are seeing that here, and you see that just wall of smoke in the distance. We're getting strong smells of smoke here as well. Now, this fire is just burning erratically in many places. It missed the first time around. The sheriff says it's coming back around and burning those places it missed, just kind of moving back and forth. There are fires burning in all the critical areas north and west of Fort Collins. The sheriff said if you talked about worst case scenario, this is their worst case scenario, and it has been hard to watch for him.
What's it like to watch this community go up like this?
It's tough. It's tough.
A lot of people up there.
A lot of good residents, a lot of good firefighters up there. We're just trying to keep them safe as they're trying to protect their neighborhood. So they're doing a darn fine job.
Understandably emotional here on the fire lines. Resources here are thin. Officials say they've pretty much ordered everything they can, but they're competing with the fires in New Mexico. Investigators did get a chance to get in and get a better look at the origin of the fire. They say it's most likely not human caused, so they're looking at something like lightning as a cause for this fire right now. Back to you guys.
Okay, well, we know he must be exhausted
Oh, yes.
as well as emotional, because this is tough going for those folks in Larimer County. Thank you, Molly.